going on soon. I'm going back on the Stern Show. I haven't been on in a while. I know I'm not a very fascinating guest. No strippers. Well, a little bit of drugs, but you know, not interesting drugs. Mostly prescription. But I'm in town for the Turner Up Fronts because we're on TBS now on the Conan show, and I'm expecting a lot of, well, you came crawling back to Conan, a lot of that stuff, a lot of fuck Jay stuff, a lot of, so the Conan show's doing real shitty now, isn't it? A lot of that kind of, you know, so, and I'm going to love every minute of it because I listen every day, so it's, you know, it's like, this is, I was telling somebody yesterday, this is a press stop that I actually enjoy. I like doing this. I like coming in here. It's exciting, you know? As
a fan, you're aware of some of the possibly negative conversation or topics he might bring up, but you embrace that. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I said it once before. I think it was on Greg Fitzsimmons' show. Because whenever I get talked about, whenever they've mentioned me, they've, you know, I just want them to move on. Like, mention my name and then move on. Because the more people start talking about you on this show, the more you become just a shit magnet. Even in the conversation, it's better to just, even in their conversation, just kind of pop in, make an appearance, and then have them move on to shitting on someone else. Time equals negativity.
Yes, yes. But I relate to it. I think it's very much, it's sort of like my family. It's sort of like what I grew up with. You know, the longer you stick around, the more shit you're going to get.
I also read on Twitter that you sort of hashtag gonna show some titty.
Yeah.
Today.
I probably won't.
Oh, you tease.
I probably won't. I mean, I'm not afraid to. I just, and I noticed this morning I had a big zit by my nipple, so I'm probably not going to show it. Just.
Hey, that's all right.
That's the male version of I'm on my period. So.
Well, just having you here is enough. So
thank you.
Welcome back, Andy.
Thanks very much.
And we'll see you in the studio shortly.
Yes, you will.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, Andy Richter hasn't been here since he was promoting The Tonight Show. So we haven't seen Andy in a long time.
Oh, wow. A lot has gone on since then.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's Andy Richter.
Hey.
Hello.
Andy Richter, the man who sits at Conan O'Brien's side as he does whatever the show's called now.
It's
called
Conan
right?
O'Brien.
Yeah, it's just called Conan.
Is it true? I read, Andy, that...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Andy,
what a trick to play on somebody.
I read that they spent about, and I don't even understand this, like $1 million researching what they should call the show. When the show moved to TBS from NBC, that $1 million...
$1 million to find out you should call it Conan?
Well, because they go, should it be Conan O'Brien?
That has to be bullshit.
So you've never heard that?
No. I mean, I think...
Where do these things get started, do you think? I mean, there's so much BS.
Right here.
You think I started that? You probably did.
No, you know what I think it is? I think there's too much information about entertainment. So they have to make shit up.
Right.
Because there's 8,000 outlets for the little turds of information that are about, like, the big turd. So, you know.
Are you here today to claim that you're still on television?
I am.
Is that what's going on?
I am.
Is that the tour?
I'm still on TV, Mom.
Andy, take me back to,
okay.
I mean, you're a very loyal Conan guy, but...
Yes.
You know, and I guess I am too in this sense. I think you and I were probably the only two people defending Conan at some point. Well, no, Jimmy Kimmel too.
Yeah, no. Jimmy was great. Jimmy was great. I think, you know.
Did you read Bill Carter's latest book?
Yes.
What did you think? I thought that was really interesting about the whole Conan affair. You know, and I thought it was a very fair book.
I thought it was too fair. Every time I read about, like, from the Leno perspective, I was like, bullshit.
Oh, I thought Bill was tough on Leno.
Really?
Yeah, I thought Bill did the appropriate thing. I don't think Bill... I come off thinking...
Well, where would you have been tougher?
I think Bill comes off as not a Leno fan.
Really?
Yeah.
No, well... There were things. There was. You know, it's been a while too. So since I read the book, I read it right when it came out because.
But for some reason, you felt it wasn't.
To look for me.
Yeah, of
basically.
course. What'd they say about me?
Yeah,
Did you talk to Bill Carter for his book? This book was about late night wars and the whole Conan thing and Jay Leno and all that. Do you speak to Bill about it, or did you stay out of it?
Not officially, and which is weird because there were particular episodes in the book in which I played a part which he got really right.
But you say not officially.
And I never,
You spoke to him, but you off the record?
No, I mean, like, hey, Bill, how are you?
Right.
Good to see you.
You
How
didn't
you
give him
doing?
information. You didn't do an interview.
No, I never did like an official interview. But
And it would be only things you knew?
Yeah, like, like a conversation. Because there was a time, like, I had to call Jay Leno and apologize because I said something snotty in an interview.
Why did you have to
Really?
apologize?
Because they asked me to apologize.
Who asked
at
you?
the time.
TBS?
No, one of the people at NBC who has since been fired.
But let me understand that whole thing.
Okay.
So the way it went down in my mind is Leno, came back. You guys were gone. Why would you then apologize for
No,
something?
this must have been while it was
this
still going
this
on.
was while the froth was churning.
I see.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it wasn't clear what was going to be happening.
No. He, quickly, he did an interview with just like some trade paper,
Right.
like broadcast and cable, whatever. And his 10 o'clock show was going shitty. And
Right.
he said, the guy kept asking him about, well, if you were on at 11:30, would things be different? How would you feel if you were on at 11:30? He asked, well, I think he only asked him once or twice.
Right.
And Jay said, oh, you mean if they asked me to have if they gave me the old job back, would I take it? Sure.
Right.
Which is like two different questions.
So, right, he answered something that he
Yeah.
wasn't asked.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he was floating that idea of him coming back.
And that was the first.
And what did you say about that?
I said that certainly wasn't the classy answer to that question.
And you had to apologize to him.
And I had to apologize to him.
So how do you do that? How do you make an apology call? Who gives you this? They give you a number
They
to
give
call?
me a phone number.
Do they stand in the room with you while you make the call?
No. And the guy that...
Did you say it first? Listen, I don't like what Jay said. I didn't say anything. I just said it wasn't a classy answer.
Absolutely.
And you put up a protest, and they said, listen, Andy, this guy's on at 10 o'clock at night. We have to have peace. And so you said, hey, who the fuck am I to buck the system?
Right, exactly.
All right, what the hell?
I have to remember my relative importance in the situation.
Right.
And eat a little crow, and who gives a shit?
Now, did they write out what you were going to say? Or?
So how'd that conversation go?
Well...
how you doing?
Well, it is the funniest thing to me. The first thing was I'm given a number, and it was pretty early too. And the thing that I said, I was promoting something else that I'd done. I don't even remember. And the guy, and it was just for some like shitty, like online thing.
Right.
And I said this thing, and it wasn't even out yet.
Wow.
And Jay's like, hey, what's up with that? Why is he saying this about
Why is he
me?
saying I'm not classy?
Yeah, I'm not classy.
Because Jay acts like nothing bothers him, but it does.
And he always has to pick up the phone with everybody.
Right, right. Yeah, he picked up the phone with me. That was the last time we talked.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I told him to fuck off.
Well, he said, I get this number, I dial the number, and I'm expecting something other than what I got, which was, hello. It's just like,
He answered.
hello.
Yeah, all right. That's a regular guy.
Hi, Jay.
Right.
How are you?
Right.
And I said, hey, Jay, it's Andy Richter. And he went, Andy, you know how these guys, like instantly into it. Like, you know how these guys are. I mean, they hammy, and then you end up saying the thing you don't really mean it or whatever. I mean, it's...
So he's kind of making excuses for
Yes.
you, right?
Which I instantly felt...
He was guilty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a higher status in this situation because right off the bat, he's explaining himself to me.
Yes.
Right.
As opposed to me explaining myself to him.
Right.
So hooray,
He didn't
for,
sound
me.
very
Hooray
angry.
for me,
Right.
first of all. And then I have, and the best thing that happened out of the thing was, he said, I just think we should settle these things between each other. If you got a problem with something that I said, you can call me up directly.
Yeah, the problem is he said something
after
in
somebody
print.
gives you
Absolutely.
his number.
Yeah. And he wants
but
me-
he said something in print and he wants you to apologize.
Right.
You talk to him about it personally.
Right. And I was pissed because here we were trying to build this show
Right.
with basically, like cinder block shoes put on us by his
Right.
lead-in,
Right.
which everybody at the network that was on his side said, lead-in doesn't matter. Bullshit.
Yeah, sure it does.
Bullshit, it doesn't matter.
These are factors you can't control.
Yeah, they're saying, like, well, just because we're doing shitty at 10 is no excuse for, Conan must be just putting on a shitty show in the late. But it's like, well, why don't you tell all your local news who are all down 50% that they're putting on shitty shows?
Right. They're not. They're taking.
Local news is getting dragged down.
What you're saying, and this is true, a lot of local news that followed the Jay Leno 10 o'clock show, when they were formerly number 1, went to number 3.
Yes.
Because they're lead-ins. People just leave the TV on. They're not going to go to the different local news.
And that was the biggest beef.
Right.
That was what was motivating all of it, was because for the local
So you were getting
affiliates,
fucked because Jay was screwing up. Jay should have left the network and gone up against you guys, gone to Fox and done that. You would have respected that more.
You said it too at the time. I remember you saying it at the time. Go away. When somebody fucks you over, if they're fucking you over, go away.
Jay has
Don't
more.
hang out in the lobby.
Jay has more money than anybody. He could have easily said, "Hey, NBC, you're taking the Tonight Show away from me. I'm still doing well. You guys are fucks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go up against Conan and Andy.
Exactly.
And I'm going to go do my show on Fox, or I'm going to do it on ABC.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach them. No. He stays at NBC and waits to do a shitty lead-in show.
And he had the benefit of a network that was being managed poorly because they couldn't make a decision. Like they couldn't divorce somebody to marry somebody.
But here's the tough question. And in the final analysis, you talk about eating crow.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you still think you guys would have been better off taking that deal where Jay went on at 11:30 and you guys go on at midnight?
No.
Why?
Because that was their way of putting us on an ice floe and pushing us off, and eventually we would have starved and died.
But wouldn't you have had a better leading? Because Jay does well at 11:30. Wouldn't you also have had wouldn't you have had a bigger audience? Because building an audience at TBS is tough. I mean, you're doing fine. I mean, you got about 1 million people a night watching, but you would have had more viewers. You still would have been at NBC, and so you would have gone on at midnight. Like, maybe you should have just done that.
No, because that was not what it was. Especially seeing how they manage people and how they manage talent.
Right.
It would have been
no respect.
It would have been, oh, look how good Jay's doing in a half an hour, and look at this drop off. Because even Jay Leno's miniature version of the Tonight Show wouldn't have been a fantastic lead-in for us.
Right.
At that time.
Right.
I mean, to put us right next to each other, I absolutely think that we could have taken the Tonight Show, made it successful, made it our own, and yet had it still live up to the franchise.
Right. How many months did you get?
7.
You had 7 months.
Yeah. Whereas he because we had our chance. That was what everyone said. He had 2 years before he beat Letterman.
Right, I remember.
He had 2 whole years of fucking up to beat Letterman. And we got 7 months, and we were already failures.
And then let me ask you about this. Isn't it true, like late night television to me is really guest driven? Like, you have to have good guests.
Yeah.
If Letterman has on Angelina Jolie, you got to go out and get the other hot chick and all that. Right. Wasn't there this perception that Jay was saying, hey, I need the better guests. I'm on at 10 o'clock at night.
I'm in prime time.
We're on in L.A.
Yeah.
And so is Conan.
Yeah.
If there's a good guest to be gotten, I want to get him first.
Absolutely.
Was that going on? Like
Absolutely.
A booking war?
Absolutely. We were still the little brother. We were still going to get
and when you take on the
hand-me-downs.
When you take the Tonight Show on, you think, hey, finally, I'll get to be the big guy.
We should be the number 1 slot. We should be. Yeah.
Conan's dream, your dream, I'm sure you shared it, was that, hey.
I mean,
but at 11:30, you guys were finally going to get to be the number 1 priority at the network.
Right.
If someone was going to get a good guest, it was going to be the Tonight Show. And instead, the Tonight Show became, it's after the Jay Leno primetime show. So that had to hurt you with guest bookings, right?
It hurt with bookings, but I think it also just... It's what it represented. It was what it represented to still follow Jay Leno.
Yeah, my perception was, too, not only were you following him, but there's a certain amount of burnout that goes on after you've just seen a whole talk show, then another talk show, and then another talk show. It just seems like it's wall-to-wall talk.
Let me ask something, though, because from the very beginning, how does it come about that Conan is decided to be the successor to Jay Leno years before?
That was crazy.
That was a weird thing, too.
That was crazy.
That was there again. They didn't want to let anybody go.
Yeah, you know what? You got to understand, because I read Bill Carter's book, too. You got to understand something. Conan, the perception was he's going to be the heir apparent to the Tonight Show. And Conan had all the buzz and all, hey, he's on at 12:30, but he's ready for prime time.
Everybody's always talking about him.
He hosted the Emmys.
He hosted the Emmys, and he was very hot.
He was very hot.
A lot of people coming at him with money.
In that heat, Fox was after him. They were ready to turn over the keys to him at 11:30 at night when a big deal, which I guess now in retrospect he should have done.
Taken, yeah.
That would have been good. But all right, he said, gee, I'd really love the Tonight Show. And they said to him, look, Jay's got another 5 years in him. We're going to orchestrate this thing where Jay will step down and you'll take over the Tonight Show. That's how it happened because they were afraid of losing him.
But nobody ever talked to Jay about this, so he could have been really pissed about that.
And if he was pissed, he should have left.
Yeah. No, I mean, from his perspective, yes. He was the
dumped.
number one show.
Right.
And they did kind of... But at that point, I think
But if somebody did that to me,
yeah.
if someone at NBC had said, hey, I have the number one talk show, and they go, hey, we're moving you out for Conan, I would have said, fuck you guys.
Yeah, but you know what? Jay didn't get angry at NBC.
No.
He got angry at Conan.
Yeah. No, I think he was angry at NBC, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why keep working for him?
That's my $1 million question.
See, that's why I don't think he was really angry with him.
I think if he felt it was more the principle of the thing, and I think he also, too, he's a creature of habit. He wears the same goddamn clothes every day.
Yeah.
He wears the same fucking clothes
He
every day.
can't go to another studio?
I can't imagine my company saying to me, hey, man, you've got the number one show. Fuck you. You're stepping down in 5 years. And I'd say, fuck you. In 5 years. Wait till you see the shiv I shove up your ass.
Right.
Yeah. Why do we have to wait?
This is a guy I can't figure out. Leno. I mean, what an odd man that he would stay at NBC and eat their bullshit.
And then do that shitty prime time show.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay's not going anywhere, but we, and then there was that whole period of we don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to be
He's
here.
going to do something. Yeah. I actually, and before we go further, I do want to say, because I don't want to seem like the ingrate that's just bitching.
Right.
Because I'm very happy where we are now. And I don't want to seem like I'm hung up on this. We're talking
You don't live
about
it every day, right?
I don't give a shit. Now, I mean, I love what we do now. And we have a lot of fun. And Conan owns the show.
He does?
He owns the show.
So what does that mean to you?
And he never would have had...
What does it mean to Conan to own the show as opposed to... Like, in other words, when the show goes into reruns, he can place them on the network he wants to. He's the owner.
He owns the web presence. He owns the name. He owns his own likeness. Nobody can come in and really say, I don't like the way you're doing that. You should do that differently. They can kind of suggest it.
Right.
But... they can't just say,
have you had them? Have
be.
they come to you and said at TBS, "Hey, we don't like some things you're doing"? Have you gotten any notes, so to speak?
Notes about we just did a bit where we reenacted the John Travolta massage scandal with peanuts. And one of the peanuts had an erection that was a peanut coming off of the peanut shell, and we had to blur it out. That's
you had to blur a peanut.
We had to, and I was saying,
insane?
It's a peanut shell with a peanut coming off of it.
It's not a penis.
It looked so gross.
Yeah.
It was like perfect. It was so nasty looking. But we had to blur out the peanut that was, that's the sort of thing.
The audience doesn't see the blur out. They see the actual funny peanut, right?
We ended up showing them the blurred version.
Isn't it crazy in this world you have to blur a peanut? But that's television. What is it, Gary?
I wanted to ask Andy if he knew about this because in the Bill Carter book there was this little note in there that said that when Conan was exiting NBC, one of the deal points was that Howard could not be a guest the last week. Did you know about that?
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's amazing to me.
They were really hung up because you had talked about it.
Right. I defended Conan in this thing.
And you and Rosie were saying you were going to come on together.
Yeah.
You were going to trash Jay.
Rosie and I had just made up, and Rosie hates Jay and I hate Jay, and we were both conspiring to come on Conan's last show. And then I know there was discussion about me coming on.
Yes.
And so who tells you that Howard Stern is not allowed on the Conan last show?
I mean, I knew about it kind of hearsay from Conan, but he didn't, talk about it a lot. But
it would have been so great.
It would have been great. It would have been great. But number one, I think he was just ready to go and didn't want to. He's not a shit stirrer.
No,
Conan generally,
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I remember at the time, 60 Minutes interviewed Conan, and he defended himself, and then everyone said he was whiny.
Yes.
So as soon as you start saying, "Hey, look, there's a lot of things that went into this," you try to explain yourself. You're considered a whiner,
right?
It's you can't win sort of situation, right?
Well, you could become the judge on a network television show and just talk about what's going on in your life and have everyone in the world say, "Will you shut up already with your life?"
Right. Yeah.
You know,
but that's what happens.
People are bitchy. You know,
Yeah,
they just.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think it
don't
was
I know.
that beard. You know, Conan had grown that big stuff.
Did you like that beard? I thought it was a mistake, the beard. I mean, honestly.
I would call him Dr. Benton Quest.
It just seemed like he was...
looked like Johnny Quest's dad.
Well, you know what he looked like? A guy who got fired from his job, went into a mental hospital, and started growing out his beard because he didn't care anymore.
It totally started out as a depression beard.
Wow.
It's just a depression beard.
How
you know?
depressed was he? Seriously. I mean, you would... are you that close that you speak to him every day?
Yeah.
Even when you guys were off the air?
Well, after it happened, there was a couple weeks where I just kind of
backed off.
Let him be, because I knew
he was
you know,
down.
it was, I mean,
It's terrible.
It had been like his kind of dream, his dream job, and it got taken away. And he also, too, it felt like he was being rejected by everybody. You know, it felt like just this complete repudiation. Although at the end, there was like this swell of support that that was pretty fantastic.
Well, that's why I always say that people like Conan, anyone in show business, I remember they did it to Chevy Chase. They hired him at Fox.
Mm-hmm.
They were touting him as the next great thing.
Yeah.
And then they fired him 9 weeks later, and then Fox was out there going, "Boy, is he shitty!" And man, was he tough.
I know.
The very people who had made the decision to hire him were now bad mouthing him.
Yeah.
And I said that's why Chevy Chase got a $9 million payout at the time, which was considered huge for television anytime. Same thing with Conan. I mean, he went from being the network sweetheart, the next big thing, everything they want. And then they went ahead and put Jay in as the lead in. They just fucking sabotaged the shit out of him after 7 months and basically said he was shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a miracle he even ended up at TBS. He could have been completely ruined.
Yeah, well...
And no one would have been crying for him. Yeah, I know he makes millions of dollars, but that's not what it's all about. He still wanted to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready to hang it up.
No, not at all. No, he definitely still has this urge to do this thing, like way more than I do. I like doing what I do for a living.
Right.
But that was, I mean, from my perspective, too, with Jay, he'd done it for 18 years.
Right.
He had $1 gazillion.
Right.
I was raised to be of the opinion that work is something to avoid.
You're not looking at work.
18 years and $1 gazillion, a warehouse full of old fucking cars. Like,
and he
goodbye.
brags he doesn't even use his salary for anything because he lives on his stand-up money.
That is one of the most spectacular neuroses I've ever.
That's so true.
It's such a cover-up for hiding in closets, listening in.
Unbelievable.
I mean, crawling on the floor, listening in closets. You know, years ago he did that. For people that don't know, when they were deciding between him and Letterman, he crawls in closets, listens to the door. I think that presented he could realize that presents him in such a light of like a desperate person.
He was proud of it. You know where that story came from? From Jay.
Really?
Jay was proud. He said, "I'm so hungry, I'm going to go hide in a closet." He's proud that he fought for the Tonight Show.
But I think there's still a part of him that knows that how crazy that is.
Just hide in a closet?
Yeah.
Very crazy.
And so he knows, like, well, now I have to seem like I don't really, like, the Tonight Show. And he's always kind of talked about being the host of the Tonight Show as if it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it matters plenty.
Oh, my goodness,
you know,
it
like,
matters.
Well, it's all fabricated.
And so he can say to people, and this is in his weird disconnect, he thinks, I know how people will think that this doesn't matter that much. I'll just say I don't spend my salary.
Yeah, what a thought
people
process.
will relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, no one relates to that, you lunatic. That's the craziest, you know.
I don't relate to it. I don't know who does.
I don't, you know, I just, I don't
it's
know.
Crazy
it's like,
thinking.
It's like trying to say to someone like, no, I shit into Ziploc bags, and then I mail them to my mother's grave. You know?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, you know, like a normal guy in a denim shirt.
Why wouldn't you spend the money you make from the Tonight Show?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, have fun.
What the fuck is it there for? and I think like years down the road too, he started to even figure out like, I'm spending that money on charity.
Yeah.
You know, like, because people started to say, so you're just piling it up? That sounds cool.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Oh, I never got to finish the thing about the phone call because he said, you know, he's telling me how we should, you know, we should settle these things, but just between us.
Like men.
Yeah. And so I said, so when you said that thing about how if they gave you the job on the Tonight Show again, you would take it. I said, did you call Conan or Jeff Ross, our producer? Did you call them to clear that up with them? Because you knew, because I got him to kind of say that he knew that was kind of an uncool thing to say.
Right.
I said, did you call them and clear it with them? He said, oh, yeah, I called them. And I knew that he knew that I knew
that it was a lie.
He's lying.
Right.
I got him to lie to my ear, to my face. And when I could just go, okay, all right, I'm sorry, Jay, bye. Hey, Conan, did you? Of course not. He
and
knows.
You know what's funny about all that whole story? It doesn't even matter in the long, because I had this this crazy conversation where I said to him, "You just fucked me over. You didn't make a phone call to me," and I really poured my heart out to him. And I said, "Jay, this is why I'm upset with you." And then he goes, "Oh, okay. So we're friends now, right? Like the phone call itself should mean we're friends." I go, "No, we're not friends. Didn't you hear a word I fucking said? I said I think you're a jerk."
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a crazy guy.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he's doing well. Did it hurt your feelings at first when you guys were out of the job? Jay goes back to the Tonight Show. Did you sort of watch to see who would go on the show as a guest? Did you kind of say, gee, I wish people would be more loyal?
Yeah. I mean, not so much me, but I think that there were people that, and not Conan, but people at work have kind of bitched about.
Who went on there that really irked you? Do you remember? I mean, because I get like that too. I do. It's like, wow, gee, I wish they would have waited a while before they supported Jay. Like, it would have been neat if they stayed off the show. I forget who Jay's first guest was.
You know what? I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember particularly because. But I do know there were people that we're kind of friendly with. But then you kind of got to go. I remember there were people, but I don't remember who they were.
I bet you do.
No, I really don't.
You really don't?
I really honestly don't.
Because I would have watched that and gone,
you would never forget.
I would never say anything to them. I'd say, hey, okay, that's cool. I understand you got a show business career. I follow your reasoning for going on, but maybe you could have waited a couple of months.
I can't think of anybody, but then you also got to answer yourself. You got to say, these people are promoting movies.
Right. They're not sitting caught up in all of this.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And as they shouldn't,
right.
Who gives a shit about who has what talk show? It's like...
Is it harder to book guests now that you're over at TBS? It's got to be a little more difficult.
A little bit, but I think... one thing that we do have going for us is that we do have a young show.
Right.
A lot of young people watch our show, and everybody likes that.
And TBS has got to be happy because I don't know what they had on there before.
They're thrilled.
Yeah, because
they had the George Lopez show.
Yeah, they had George.
That was the other one.
Are you guys outperforming the George Lopez show? You're doing better.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so
I mean, as far as I know, I honestly don't know. The ratings,
you don't look at the ratings.
I don't give a shit.
You don't.
What's that? What am I going to do?
Yeah, in a way,
we're down in women 17 to 12. I better, I don't know, start wearing Hannah Montana.
Well, for real, I mean, you're in the best position. You get to be on the show every night, but you don't get pinned with hey, Andy was the reason we went down in the ratings. You don't get that kind of pressure. And Conan lives with that.
I have honestly the best job in show business.
You do.
I
write for the show.
I write for the show, but I don't write in the way that I used to.
Right.
After the show's done, I go home.
You do?
I go home.
That's beautiful. How long is it? So how many days? How many hours do you spend a day in the office?
Well, it's only 4 days a week because we don't do on TBS does movies on. It's kind of like the people without HBO's HBO on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And that was always the way it was going to be, which was a very attractive going into it. I get to the office between 10 and 11, or I'll get there earlier sometimes because I go to the gym there.
Right.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you're doing great.
What do you do at the gym?
By the way, he gets a cup of coffee and talks to the trainer.
I take a gravy bath.
Right. What's going on with your weight? Have you put on a few since I last saw you? I haven't seen you in a while.
I probably have, but I don't know. I go up and down. But
you love your food.
I love my food. I do exercise. I'm not in bad shape.
Yeah, I mean, you're not obese or anything. I don't want to give people that impression.
Yeah,
but you put on a few.
I have been Baby Huey my entire life.
Have you ever? What's the lowest you ever got down to?
The lowest I ever got was when I came to work for Conan. I put on 40 or 50 pounds from stress and being in that office for 16 hours a day.
Right.
And your only break being restaurant food. You
Right.
know, like ordering out restaurant food.
And you end up ordering all the fattening shit.
Oh, absolutely, because you're like, fuck this. I need
something big.
I need a reward.
cheese.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, because you feel like, wow, I need something to comfort me, and I'm going to get sick if I don't eat something,
Right.
and it's like,
and
you
you
crazy.
can't order a big boob to suckle from, so you order cheese instead.
Yeah, mommy won't give you the boob anymore.
So I put on like 40 pounds, and it was scary how quickly I put on all this weight, because I've always, like I said, I've always been dumpy, and I got on a diet. I was going to the gym 4 days a week, and I got down. The lowest I could get was 220.
220. What do you weigh now?
I weigh like 270 now.
270.
Yeah,
You're not that tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were shorter than that.
That's what everybody thinks. I'm more to scale.
Hey, did George Lopez say that you guys did to him what Jay did to you?
I don't think he ever said that.
Because I didn't see it as the same situation.
No, I don't think he ever said that.
Well, here's what happened. When TBS decided to approach Conan, they asked George to put his show back an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
And he agreed, I guess.
Yes.
Because he was like, well, at least I'm on.
Right. What does he care?
And also, too, got a really nice lead-in.
Yeah.
More so than what he was getting before.
Right.
That's true.
And he's not dumb. He knows the way it works, and it was better. It was good for him,
Right.
to have us as a lead-in, and then
You know what I noticed when you guys got the Tonight Show?
Yeah.
The first couple of shows, you were very tight. In other words, I sensed that you weren't in a comfort zone. And that's a funny thing to me.
the show, or
The Tonight
me in
Show.
particular?
No, I'm talking about the whole show.
Yeah.
The whole show just seemed like it had stiffened up a little bit. When you first got, everyone was viewing to see what Conan was going to do on Tonight Show. But it's so weird, because what happens when you move from 12:30 to 11:30 that causes you to all of a sudden go, oh, fuck, there's a whole different, I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same goddamn show.
It's people get in your ear about, like, you have to please old ladies.
Right. They go, it's
Yeah.
11:30 at
Yeah.
night. You better be...
There's a lot more old ladies.
Right.
You know,
yeah, it's a whole different thing. And Jay knew how to do it because he doesn't offend anyone. Was it wrong in the final analysis to move to Los Angeles? Did that affect the tightness? Maybe you should have just stayed in New York and done the show from New York and been comfortable.
Then you're back onto the thing about booking guests.
I see. That was what the move
you
was.
know what it's like to book guests in New York.
Yeah, look, I have you.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I was looking for Conan.
I'm no Val Kilmer.
Right. No, I'll take you any day over Val Kilmer.
Oh, thank you.
So it wasn't wrong to move to L.A.?
No.
It was the right move.
Absolutely. And I don't think that was ever even up for negotiation.
Do you miss New York at all?
I miss it. Yeah, I
Conan
really
doesn't. He acts like a Hollywood guy. That's it. He loves
he's
it.
total Hollywood.
He's total. He's got total Hollywood.
It's gross. I'm sick of seeing his chest hair all the time.
You go over there on weekends and stuff? I mean, do you guys hang out ever with the families and everything?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. It's been a while, but it's been sort of like, especially with kids, it's when you get into the barbecue pool season, that's when you see everybody, and we're coming out of that.
Are you developing something like a game show or something? I read.
I was the host of one of the new pyramids. They were doing, like the 20
Easy Money,
whatever.
right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But what happened? It was going into the spot on CBS where a soap opera had been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they went with The Talk instead. Les decided to do the show that his wife was on.
Les Moonves chose his wife over you?
Yeah. Can you believe
his
it?
Wife.
You got no luck, dude.
I know. Let's see. My sexy wife, or do I give Fatty a game show?
She is sexy, though. Julie Chen.
I like her a lot. I think she's got a real,
You got to hear this. I just went on The Talk. It's going to air Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm promoting America's Got Talent. So and by the way, I said I would not do The Tonight Show when I was promoting it. I feel like, hey, were you pissed? I'll get back to Julie Chen in a minute, but were you pissed when Letterman made up with, like, Jay? Like, didn't that piss you off? That pissed me off.
That Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah. Did that piss you guys off? Was Conan throwing things against the wall?
I don't think we were as pissed as Jimmy Kimmel was. I know
Jimmy and I hang out. We talk about Jay all the time.
Yeah. But no, it just because it's at this point, it's when these big people in show business where it's just kind of like, it really is like it's almost a mafia thing. Like as the bullet is going in, like it's just business.
Well, yeah, I never understood this. It's just business.
I don't either. But what
that's
can
the
you
way
do?
it is.
It's the way it is.
People have tried to explain that to me, but I don't know.
If you look for people to disappoint you, you'll never be disappointed.
Getting back to Les's wife, though, this is a funny story. I do tell this on the talk on Thursday. I was with my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend, and I decided I was going to take her to Gucci or something for her birthday. Like in other words, I was going to say, "Hey, honey, you go, you buy something you love."
Oh, I thought you just meant take her.
No.
Yeah.
I actually opened the wallet. I opened the wallet. I'd been dating her long enough that I opened the wallet, and I said, "Hey, that'll be sexy. Like I'll sit there. She could have a pretty woman day. She'll walk in. All of a sudden, they'll treat her like a princess."
Right.
And, this was my idea of a gift. I thought that was exciting. So we go in, and at the time it was like Les was suing me and stuff, and like, or maybe it just finished, and we're sitting there. I'm sitting on the couch, and this hot woman comes out, and she's doing the pretty woman treatment too. She's trying on outfit after outfit, and she's parading around, and I mean, the woman had a body that wouldn't quit. And I'm saying, this is fantastic. I'm waiting for my wife, my girlfriend at the time, to come out in her outfits, but look at this chick with the black hair, and she got big titties, and she's putting on one sexier outfit after another. I look over on the couch. Les Moonves is sitting there, like, right next to me. It's Julie Chen, and I go, oh, my God, is she hot? I mean, it was like getting a fashion show from heaven.
Right.
I think I had a rod in my pants. Like, I'm not kidding.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, she's hot.
Right.
And I was on the talk the other day, and I brought this up. And
did you and Les then have, like, was it like a...
We both looked over at each other and went, yeah.
Like a sexy wife measuring contest?
Yeah, it was like, wow, life's good. And it was like, wow, can you believe this? I mean, wow. This is a moment. We jerked off together. In fact, if I'm going to be in full disclosure mode, I jerked him off and then he jerked me off.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
With some of that good Gucci lotion, probably.
But I turned to her during the talk, and I said to her, Julie, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I said, Les can't satisfy you. You're on fire. This was during the commercials.
Oh, really?
Well, she was moving around in her chair. They play like rock and roll music during the breaks.
Right, sure.
And Julie is bouncing up and down in her chair. And I said, you know what? She's the wild cheerleader. Les can't handle her. And I said to Sharon, there's no way Les can handle that. And she goes, yeah, you're right. And I go, and then I said, and Julie goes, what are you two talking about? I go, I'm talking about how Les can't handle you. She goes, oh, no, he's great in bed. I go, no, he's not. There's no fucking way he knows what to do with you. And then Sharon goes,
he's great.
So Sharon goes, what are you implying? That you're the guy who can handle it? I go, yeah. Yeah, I can handle it. This is what goes on.
Right.
So you're happy. You're on the Conan show.
Yeah.
You're doing here and there. They give you a game show, whatever it is, you'll do it.
Yeah, well, we're...
You know what I found out? You got your break on the Conan show. You got hired because of Bob Smigel, the guy who does Triumph, the dog.
Well, he definitely recommended me. I knew Robert because a friend of mine from Chicago that I had started with was working on SNL.
Oh.
And when I was in L.A. one summer, Robert went out there to write the stillborn Hans and Franz movie.
Oh.
And he was out there.
Did that ever get made?
No, because...
I think that might have been funny.
It didn't get made because the Last Action Hero was such a huge flop.
Yeah.
That Arnold Schwarzenegger decided I can no longer make fun of my own image.
I see.
So I can't, it's like...
So Hans and Franz got killed.
Yeah, because that was the problem.
Sketch.
It wasn't the fact that the movie was shitty. It was,
poor Hans and Franz.
Yeah. So I met Robert and hung out there, and then...
he's a big talent.
Yeah, oh my God, he's fantastic.
What's he do these days?
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time.
He just...
Do you guys have Triumph on anymore? You can't own him.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But, Robert's busy with his own projects. I know he writes a lot of screenplays now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do they get made, or is he one of those guys that just never gets...
He does a lot of stuff with Sandler, I think. He does a lot of work with Sandler. And I think he's always, selling shows and stuff.
Yeah, right.
But he's here. He's got a family and kids, that take up a lot of his time.
And what's doing with your wife?
She is mad at me because we got a puppy and I came to New York.
Right. And now she's taking care of it.
So you abandoned her with the puppy.
I abandoned her with the puppy. She's on
What does
Twitter.
she do? Is she an actress or something?
She's an actress and a writer. She wrote a book a few years ago when she tried to write another book, but the book market is so shitty right now. If you're not.
Does she act anywhere that I know? Where is she on?
She was on a show called Strangers with Candy on Comedy Central. She had a recurring role on that. That was on, Amy Sedaris.
Yeah.
That was a TV show that she had.
How's the marriage going? Everything all right?
It's going great.
We never read any scandal.
Aside from
you don't bang any of the guests or
no
anything?
paparazzi chase you.
No paparazzi.
Does that bother you? Do you feel that paparazzi? Do you want to tell the paparazzi to chase you?
No. There was one time on Robertson Boulevard in L.A., which is like where there's it's like boutiques where Paris Hilton goes shopping.
Right.
And if you go down there, there's always paparazzi. You see them just standing around with their cameras.
Yeah.
I walked by there one time. I think I was meeting somebody for lunch. I walked by a big crowd of photographers just standing around, obviously waiting for somebody to come out of a boutique. Because they'll call and say...
Right, I'm in a boutique.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan's buying bras or whatever.
Right.
And I walked by all these photographers, and I kind of think like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get my picture taken. and one of the photographers goes, without raising his camera, goes, "Hey, Andy, what's up?"
That's terrible.
How you doing?
That's worse than them not knowing who you are.
I hate to admit this, but you were at Jimmy Kimmel's party.
Yes.
I had no idea.
I was glad that you noticed, and I was.
Could I tell you something?
Yeah.
And this is the truth. I didn't know. Here's what happened. We were at the party.
Yeah.
And I saw a guy, now that I think back on it, that looked like you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you, but I didn't know it was you. I didn't.
Why not?
When you see your school teacher outside of a show business
No,
bar?
I know exactly what you mean.
I didn't know Andy was coming, so I don't know. But I left and I went. Someone said to me, Andy Richter was at the party. I go, where was Andy Richter? I love that guy. How come he didn't say hello? And then I'm thinking about it. I go, I saw him, and I think our eyes locked.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who it was. I just thought it was one of Jimmy's friends or something. I didn't know.
I tried to say hi, but you were always,
You know what? In a way, thank God you didn't. Because,
he would have blown you off.
I would have said I wouldn't have known who you were.
Yeah.
There's something weird about you.
I would have.
I noticed I threw it off me. I know Andy all these years.
Fault.
It's his fault that I don't recognize him.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, did you notice?
Why don't you get a memorable face, asshole?
Yeah. What's wrong with you? You look like every other guy. You know what it is? Did you notice everyone at the party was wearing name bands, like name tags? That was for me because I said to Jimmy, I don't recognize a lot of the people at the party. You know what I mean?
I had one. I think I had one on that said Andy.
Yeah, but you were far away.
I think I wrote it like
but it just said Andy Richter.
Really
no
retarded
offense.
script.
There's a lot of Andys.
Yeah.
Did you make your own name tag?
I did, and I did like draw it like a child would draw it, just because I thought it was so funny to walk around.
So I apologize. I would have loved to have hung out with you.
Hopefully I'll make the next one. But
did you have fun? Well, I told Jimmy to take you off the list.
We had fun, and in fact, we had so much fun that we had to leave early because my wife got so drunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think she had a couple shots of Johnny Knoxville's moonshine.
Oh no, he was there with the moonshine.
That's his thing. That's his thing.
And it was one of those. It was one of those things where, when you're with your spouse, and they at a party, and you don't really notice it, and then all of a sudden they say something, and you're like, holy shit, you're fucked up. It was because we hadn't been there that long.
Yeah.
And I think because she's such a fan, I think she was kind of nervous and excited.
And she was probably excited. She's sharing moonshine with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
They get caught up. Yeah, my wife did that too with the Johnny Knoxville. I go, what are you drinking some shit from? That's the guy who
knows where that came from?
Who sticks shit up his ass to get laughs. I go, you don't know where he got that stuff. That bottle could have been up his ass.
Yeah. Well, he probably called her ma'am.
Yeah.
He always calls women ma'am.
Here's this total degenerate, Johnny Knoxville, and he's so polite in person. It's so great.
Yes, ma'am. Right, ma'am.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Well, listen, it's great seeing you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Maybe
I'm such
you'll
a fan.
recognize him the next time.
Let me take a good look at you.
I'm not hoping for much.
Say hi to Conan for me.
I will.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
And Robin, I hope everything goes. I'm sorry
Thank
about
you.
your travails.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, she better be all right. I'm not doing this show by myself.
Right.
I mean, I've had it with her.
Well, maybe Fred could fucking talk every now and then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You try and get him to talk. Fred, he's not even here, I don't think.
Is he gone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you, I thought he
he's
died.
sleeping.
When I'm being insulted, I kind of like slink off.
Yeah, Fred, try to speak up.
It's not an insult to say I want to
No, not
hear
you.
your voice.
No, he means us.
Oh,
Yeah, my
You're all
friends. You know the ones that ignore you when you're at a party?
right, exactly.
It's too much. All right, listen. Andy Richter is on Conan O'Brien show. Conan.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Conan.
Conan.
And also Madagascar 3.
Do you ever watch? Oh, you
I'm
are
doing a
doing it.
voice in Madagascar 3.
Yeah, how do I
the
get?
same
That's
one.
got to be easy money, right? It's
Oh my
cartoon
God,
voice.
it's the best.
How many days do you work on something like that? Why doesn't anybody? I can do voices. Hey, how you doing? This is Madagascar.
Sounds like Jay
That sounds
Leno.
like
Let's
Jay
get
Leno.
him.
Well, let me do a different voice then.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing? This is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
What a catalog of voices you have.
I do everything. I do everyone. I used to be an impressionist, like 17 years. I gave it all up.
Hey,
It's too
everybody,
easy.
it's me. It's Jimmy Carter.
Hey, this is Jimmy Carter. I used to be the president of the United States. I'm not kidding. With a pretty good accent. I should have won second term. What, am I Nixon?
Sure.
Hey, this is Richard Nixon. No, but do you get paid a lot of dough for that?
Yeah, I mean, considering it's nothing.
And it's
nothing
nothing.
work.
Do you work with the other guys in the cartoon, or do you go into a studio by yourself?
Almost never. I think, like the four main animals in it, which is Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett, and David Schwimmer, they may occasionally do stuff, but I don't even think so. I mean, Chris told me, like, one time they came to him and, like, recorded him in a hotel room.
Do you actually study your animal? Like, do you go to the zoo?
Do you develop a character?
What is your animal?
I play a lemur, a little tiny, like, cute little lemur.
Hey, I'm a lemur. Look at me. I can do that. I want to be a lemur. Yeah.
On the first press junket for the first movie, they had us on a panel, like, in this hotel ballroom, and these reporters were asking questions. And they asked Jada Pinkett Smith, like, did you ask your husband about your character and tell us about your character? And she went into this long talk about who this, and it's a hippo. It's like a sassy hippo.
Yeah.
And she's like, she goes into this long thing about the character and how she really, Gloria, and how Gloria is this and Gloria is that.
Oh, God.
And I'm sitting there just listening, and then the guy goes, and how about you, Andy? How did I went, and I
lived with a family. I lived with a family of lemurs for a week.
I didn't want to be a dick, but I had no choice but to say, they showed me a picture, and I just did a voice.
What is your lemur voice? Can you do a little?
It's like this. It's actually a ripoff of Robert. Robert Smigel has the theory that all dogs speak with the same accent,
right.
which is Triumph.
Yeah, and
it's
what is
like,
that? A Mexican or something?
It's who knows?
Yeah,
it's
who
just
knows?
what he decided.
Because he talks like this.
Yeah, he talks like this, and it sometimes sounds French, sometimes sounds Russian.
Right. So what is your voice?
This is just, it's a very high voice, and it's lots of screaming, like,
do you feel
I like you.
Do you feel really stupid doing that? Like when you first walk in and you go, like, do you think, well, maybe I should just use my regular voice?
No. In fact, they're now getting away from it because I've done a lot of animation voices, and they will say frequently when you go in to read for something, it's a fucking cartoon. You're playing like a rabbit, and they'll say, but don't make it cartoony. Like, what the
Keep it
What does
real.
that
Yeah, keep it real. What the fuck?
I'm a talking lemur, and I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah.
How many talking lemurs do you know?
All through your life, you got to keep it real. You get a chance
meanwhile,
to be a cartoon rabbit.
Keep it real means sort of like underplay it, but if you underplay it, they'll cut you right out of the fucking movie.
No shit.
They want somebody who really pops.
That's right. You got to make a character.
Yeah.
It's got to stand out.
Why not? Yeah.
Let me try that lemur thing. Hey. I don't know. It keeps turning into Jay.
There's the key to you also is like a terrible underbite.
Yeah, you gotta go like this. That's right. What's wrong with that? I don't understand. That's right. Yeah. Conan, fuck him. That's right. We're gonna take over the Tonight Show. Wow, you're a lemur.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I've always wanted to ask this question.
Go ahead.
I'm seeing the Sibian parts.
Yeah. Well, we're using it today for the World's Strongest Naked Woman contest, which is coming up next.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so mad I have to go to the upfront.
Fuck the upfronts, man.
Why can't you have insertion?
Because there are certain lines that the company here at Satellite has and also on our on-demand, Comcast owns that.
Right.
There's certain lines they don't want to. They don't want to be full
we're not hardcore.
We're not hardcore pornography where you're like.
And why is that? Like it's because you could pay more. You have to pay more money, or
you want to
someone
know
could
the
sue
truth?
you, or?
I don't. No, not sue you, but I don't even know that I want to. Cross that line. Like at some point, it's like.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what am I doing here?
Yeah, but what's the difference between sitting on like a bristly rubber pad and having a giant dildo go in their vagina?
Ask that to like a virgin. You know what I mean? It's the difference between.
Fred.
Fred will answer that. I mean, it's the same thing. Why can't a peanut have an erection?
Right.
You know, it's just like erections and things going into women.
And because you just feel it just feels wrong. Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with like you Hefner showing pictures. I don't have a problem with a woman coming on here naked.
Right.
And all that. I think that please give me a break. Who cares?
Right.
And if you're having some fun, great. That's good fun. But like once you start having like full blown out porno and
right.
I don't know. I mean,
there have been a couple of episodes where we're like, oh my God,
right?
Should she really be doing that?
Yeah, and I mean like and then I go like shit, I got daughters and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean it's
somebody this weird. Porn star just made things dirty.
Yeah, right. Like at some point,
how dare she?
Well, at some point it's fun, and then it starts to get really dark.
Right.
And we're like.
In my mind, there's a line,
Do we want to be a part of this?
You want to have fun, have a chick vomit on a naked guy.
There you go. That we can deal with.
You want to get dark? Intercourse. I don't know. There's some sort of plan I have.
Yeah.
And believe me, it's crazy plan.
Years ago, one of the groups that I performed with had a lot of the guys in the company were gay.
Right.
And so frequently after shows, especially like when we came to New York with a bunch of those guys, I would go to gay bars with them, but just like with them and a bunch of girls and play pool and stuff. And there definitely would come that point in the evening where it's like, okay, time for me to go.
Yes.
What was the point? What was going down?
It was like when the videos changed from dance videos to just, I remember at one point, I was shooting pool and like finished my pool shot and turned, and right next to me, just a giant screen of just a cock in an asshole. Just jackhammering.
So you get it.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, albeit, this video is albeit interesting, it's probably time for me to, say goodbye.
Things are amping up into a whole new direction.
Right.
All right. I understand that. I love talking to you, Andy. It's always fun to see you.
It's great to be here.
And hello. Yes. Hi.
Sorry. Not a lot of teasing went on towards you. I mean, you guys bonded over Jay.
I did. I bitched about Jay as much as I could just to keep it off of me.
It wasn't bitching. It was more like you put it. You're venting about something that happened to you that was put on you. You're reacting to your life much the same as Howard does every day on the air.
Yes. I hope so. I hope it doesn't come off as... and that's why I wanted to say, because I hate it when people say, like, why don't you move past it? It's like, well, people ask about it. What are they going to ask me about, like, the different routes that I drive my daughter to school? Like, there's only so many interesting topics about me.
Right.
So.
And when monumental things happen to you and to Conan, I mean, you have to react to it. I mean, it's impossible not to.
Right.
What do you love about Howard's perspective on Jay? I mean, there's a very shared...
It's consistent. He can, which is a way of saying he holds a grudge very well. No, I think it's there's so much about what's great about Howard is in the business of bullshit, he's pretty honest. He's and there's nobody's honest anywhere. So he can say I have a problem with somebody and then continue to say it.
And you and Conan align with that way of thinking. Are you guys? I know you're a fan. Does Conan listen? Does the staff at your show listen?
Conan listens. He got Satellite a little while ago, and he does listen occasionally. I do know because he'll tell me, like, I heard Stern today. But he mostly listens to music,
But there's definitely a mutual love between the Conan O'Brien show and the Howard Stern show.
I hope so.
I can feel it.
I hope
right
so.
Now.
Good.
Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're always a gentleman when you come down here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.